Welcome to the Online Success Journey podcast, your opportunity to discover and learn from entrepreneurs like yourself. This is not your typical podcast, but a place where you can get the real story and find out how real people encounter speed bumps and detours, but journey through to find success. Now here's your host for the Online Success Journey podcast, Patience.
Hello everyone and welcome to Online Success Journey. This is episode 265. Today we have Veronica Sagastume, an ex-corporate CFO turned content marketing strategist with a passion for helping accounting, bookkeeping, and tax business owners create content to increase their visibility on social media and grow their business online. Hello, Veronica.
Hi, Patience. Thank you for inviting me to be a guest on your podcast.
Thank you for coming. I know the client he is anxious to hear your story, so let's get started with the basics. Can you tell my client a little bit about your background, about what you did before you started your own online business?
Absolutely. I would say, like many people who go and start their own business, I went the traditional route, which is to go to school, get a college degree, and start climbing up that corporate ladder that we all get taught to do when we're in school. You know, it's like you get a job after school and you start going up, your career. And I did that for a very long time. I got a degree in accounting and finance. And being here, I live in Northern California, right between San Francisco and the Silicon Valley. So throughout the years, I had an access to getting involved with those startup companies that fulfilled that entrepreneurial gene that I have in me. I mean, I think that some of us are born with that gene and maybe we push it down because our family, as I know that you and I have shared that in our background, you know, our family encourages us to get an education. They encourage us to get a job, a good job, because that's their dream for us. So we pursue that dream for them as well as for ourselves. And so I did that for many years and climbed up that corporate ladder very quickly. And my niche in my corporate background is startups. I went and worked with Silicon Valley startup companies who were funded. We went public. We did mergers, acquisitions. And so I got a great education with that experience with them. But during the pursuit of that corporate ladder or the corner office, which in, 20 years into my corporate career, I did have that corner office in San Francisco with a great team, with a great career, all the perks that come with being a chief operating officer or a chief financial officer. But like many people will tell you, when you achieve that level of whether it's success or responsibility, a lot of perks come with that, but also a lot of responsibility. And for me, all that responsibility left very little room for a personal life. It was an imbalanced life where all of my personal relationships were suffering because I laugh a little bit because I was like, I had no life except for my business life. I felt very responsible for my role, for my role in the company, for my role as a team leader, for my staff. But what ends up happening is something starts to give, whether it's your health or your relationships, or, it just starts to pop up. And for me, after a 20-year corporate career, one of the things that happened was that my grandmother, who I also call her my original life coach, my grandmother had broken her ankle. And one of the things that I started to do was I wanted to be more available to her. I wanted to be there for her, and help out the rest of my family, my aunt and my uncles, who we were all very actively involved in her caretaking, in her, rehabilitation. And so what I found myself spreading too thin, meaning when I was at work, I wanted to be with her. When I was with her, I felt like I needed to be at work. I was full of guilt and not doing a good job at showing up as the best version of myself anywhere. I was showing up, just as the worst version for everybody, let alone my own home life. There was nothing left. And so what I did before I started my business was, I went the corporate route. I got a great experience and education with accelerating the growth of companies, building those businesses and getting them to a great level of success. But in the meantime, on my way there, I think I built a life for myself that was very imbalanced. And I got to the point where there was crossroads, and the crossroads was, do I want to continue down this path and be pursuing this, stay in this corner office, or do I want to make the decision to be more present in my grandmother's life, be more available to her, and be a part of my family's team to be more present in taking care of her? Or do I want to have a life of regret? Because that's the choice, right? Choose to stay in the corporate job and in that corner office with all the perks, but not be fully present for somebody who was so important in my life, who gave me so much, and it was my turn to give to her. So I got to that point where after a 20-year corporate career, I made the decision to take what I had learned and try to go and do for myself what I had done for others, which is start and grow a successful business.
What a journey, Veronica.
It
Wow.
is.
What is the most dangerous belief an entrepreneur can have?
Oh, that's such a great question, because I mean, when you're an entrepreneur, you come with such a big, I would say, luggage, almost like a suitcase of beliefs. And in those beliefs, some beliefs are going to serve you and some are going to hold you back. And I think one of the misconceptions or misbelief would be that it's going to happen overnight, that the success of your business is going to just, you hear all these, what I would call overnight successes, especially in the online space with online entrepreneurship. You hear all these success stories that are, just people telling you, oh, I made $100,000 within 3 weeks, or I got to the, I launched a program and I made 7 figures in 12 months. It's like you hear all these really big numbers and you start to believe that that's what you're going to do as well. And it's a misbelief. It is not true. Entrepreneurship is hard. You have to learn a new way of doing things. You have to constantly challenge your mindset, the way you think. And you have to understand that when you start a business, the entrepreneurship gene or spirit is very much alive and it's impatient. It wants things very, very fast. It wants things right away. But a true entrepreneur sees opportunity where there are problems. And that takes time. It takes time to show up. It takes time to test. It takes time to find your special sauce and your audience and build a community. And so the misconception is that, your business success will come overnight. It's going to come very quickly. It never comes as fast as you think it's going to come. It's a long journey.
Thank you for letting us know. It's not easy.
It's not.
You said you left your 9-to-5 job to be present in your family or find balance in your life. But why do you do what you do?
I feel a great big responsibility to share what I've learned to help others avoid the mistakes that, either I have made or others have made, and to help them to accelerate their progress and to help them to take action, imperfect action that be, because so many people get stuck in the overthinking or the what if scenarios, wanting to prepare for every what if scenario. So for me, I'm on a mission to help my industry, especially the industry of accountants, bookkeepers, tax and finance professionals, people, business owners in that industry who need to show up online in order to grow their business, especially this year. If 2020 has taught us nothing, it is that the businesses that will survive and thrive are those that can pivot, that can challenge themselves to think outside the box and do other things. I want to help them with those strategies and techniques and to have the right attitude in order to not only sustain, but to thrive during a pandemic.
Let's put man aside. How did you know you were successful?
That's an interesting question because every single person, you're going to have a different answer. And it depends on your background and, just like what is important to you. For me, in my corporate background, especially here in this, in the Silicon Valley, I would say financial success came early because I was able to be part of those early stage, companies where we went public. So there were stock options and, there was a lot of equity involved in that. And so financial success came early, but I did not feel successful because so many of my relationships were hurting and I was not taking care of myself. Whereas that was then, but today success comes in different ways, helping other people. Nothing makes me happier than when I get a note, a voice text message, an email, anything that tells me, thank you so much. I tried what you suggested and it worked. Or just anything that comes in a way that I made an impact in their life or in their business. It's so thrilling. It's beyond the monetary, success. Of course, we're in business to make money, because without money, we are not in business. But if you are just in it to make money, that's not going to bring you success. You have to have a deeper why, a deeper passion for something that you're showing up for. And so for me, it is a combination of helping other people, showing up for them, but also having a life that allows me to be there for people that are my VIPs, my very important people, which is my family, my close friends that I've had for decades since I was a little girl, to be able to, be available to them and be present, which is the most important thing. You can still show up to things, but not be fully present because you're so preoccupied with other things that you're thinking about. But when you have a business that allows you to make an impact on other people's lives, and while at the same time that you're growing that business, you're able to be there for your life and to show up in your own life and be present in that moment. I mean, come on, that's success to me.
But Veronica, as you said, you've been in business for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Can anyone be an entrepreneur, or are some people more cut out for it than others?
I think an entrepreneur has to have certain traits. And no, I don't think everybody's cut out for it. I mean, everybody could try it and you'll find out whether or not you're cut out for it. Some people just really want to be able to have their personal life be the priority. And so they just need to have a job in order to know what they're going to do. It's the doer, the executor, that it's almost like a transactional position where they just want to go to work so that their job supports their personal life, their hobbies, or their passion. And that is not an entrepreneur, because that person, has a place in our culture, in our environment, in our world. We need those people who want to be part of a company and want to be part of somebody else's success in building it, but they don't necessarily want to be the one driving it and making the decisions. And they may not have the tolerance of the ebbs and flows, the ups and downs that come with entrepreneurship, because it is a business. And with business come challenges, obstacles, they come great highs and great lows. So I think that anybody can try to be an entrepreneur, to start a business and to try it and see if they have what it takes to not only run, but grow a business. But I think that the ones who will not only sustain, but thrive and scale a business for the long haul are those people that have a tolerance for taking imperfect action, that have the tolerance going to take a while, that they're going to have failures. A true entrepreneur doesn't see failure. They just see learning lessons. They're like, okay, that didn't work. They don't take it personally. We go on to the next thing and the next thing, because it takes time. We make a commitment to stick to it and to have self-integrity with the promises that we make to ourselves, to keep showing up and to keep trying things and not give up at the first sign of some uncertainty or something that didn't work. That's a long-winded answer to say. I personally don't believe that everybody's cut out to be an entrepreneur, but there's nothing stopping you from trying it and learning something about yourself.
What is the secret to creating a profitable content strategy?
A profitable content strategy is one where you go into it when the purpose is to create content that will convert your audience, your readers, your listener, your viewer into a paying client. Not everyone who follows you and absorbs your content will become a paying client. While you're creating content with the purpose of converting to a customer, to a client, a patient, whatever business you're in, it allows you to show up consistently. It allows you to develop a voice. It allows you to share your message in a way that will connect with an audience and give you a great reputation for being someone who solves problems. And it's a numbers game, as you grow your community, as you grow your reputation, and as you grow your, that know, like, and trust factor with your audience, you're also going to ultimately be able to convert part of that audience into paying clients. And so you show up, it's almost like back engineering it, right? You want to show up and create content where you're taking your listener, your viewer, your reader down a journey a journey of like where they get to know you, they get to know your brand, they get to know what problems you solve. And ultimately, when you do make an offer, they will know, like, and trust you enough to listen to that offer and then determine whether the problem that you solve, if that's a solution that they need and want. That is creating profitable content strategy.
But does every business need this content marketing in their businesses, or is it for specific businesses?
I think that if you're in business, every single business needs a content marketing strategy. And sometimes we have to define what that means. What is content? And basically content is what we create to deliver a message to the people that we want to attract and connect with, the people that we can help. And so when people start to get really caught up in this, the content marketing strategy, they make it seem so much bigger than it is. And it basically is, you need to think about, what is the problem that your ideal client has? What is the solution that you have to solve their problem? What is the transformation that they can expect after they work with you? And then you create pieces of content to deliver that message in a social media platform. That would be like, whether it's a blog post that you write, a video that you create, a caption that you write with an image, whether it's an Instagram story or a LinkedIn article. You can deliver your message in so many different ways, depending on the best way that your audience is going to absorb it. So if you're in business, you need to make sure that you show up where your prospect clients or customers are, and you need to let them know how you help, who you help, what they can expect. If no one knows you exist and that you have a solution to their problem, how are they going to find you, and how are you going to stay in business? So marketing is simply a platform, a way for people to get to know you, to learn about what it is that you do, who you do it for, and what they can expect after working with you.
What have you learned in business as a whole?
Oh my goodness. There's so many lessons, right? Patience. There's so many lessons. But for me, one, you need mentors. You need a coach. You need a strategist, trainer, whatever you want to call that person. But I like to accelerate my progress. And one of the things that allows me to do that is by hiring someone who has done what I want to do and who has gotten the success or the results that I want to have. And so I did that even when I showed up in the online space many years ago. I hired my first online marketing coach. I did a one-on-one coach. And then from there, I have invested in other trainings and programs that continue to accelerate my growth and just expand my knowledge. But the other thing that I've learned in business is that it takes time, and we need to make sure that we develop a patience that requires us to put in the time, invest the time to research, invest the time to test, and invest the time to develop something and put it out there, get feedback, and then tweak and test again. You have to be patient because it doesn't happen overnight. And if I can share a third one with you, patience, it would be that you don't do it alone. It takes a village. And that, whether that's a virtual assistant, a part-time consultant or contractor, or a one-time strategy consultation, you just need help in order to get you. It's like a bridge, get from point A to point B. And so for me, what I've learned in my business over time, I've now been in business for 10 years in my consulting, 5 years in the online space. I would say it's like, you can't do it alone. You need a mentor, and it doesn't happen overnight.
What is one thing that has contributed to your success?
This word mindset did not exist in my corporate vocabulary. In the corporate world, we don't use that word. We probably think more of like affirmations, positive thinking, just different words. But in the online space, I was introduced to those words of mindset work, or just having the right thoughts, getting in the right community, surrounding myself with positive people, or people who have done what I want to do. Because sometimes in our community, in our life, in our family, in our friendships, they don't understand what we're trying to do. And so they mean well, but they may cast a shadow of doubt. They may question you in a way of like, you want to leave your corporate job to start your own business? Are you crazy? They may have the best of intentions in mind, but they're not you, and they don't know what's in your heart, what's in your mind, what is driving you. And so for me, mindset means filling my head, my mind with podcasts that talk about the things that I want to do or who help me to have tools to be able to up level my thoughts, because your thoughts ultimately become your actions, right? What we think matters. Well, that's where our energy and our intention and our focus goes. And so if your thoughts start to become negative or just look at the downside of things or just get stuck in the problems, you're not going to make the progress that you need to make in order to keep moving forward, get through the challenges, get to the other side, and continue to go down the journey that is entrepreneurship. And it is a journey. You have to enjoy the journey because it is full of unknowns, uncertainty, but it's so worth it because there's just those moments that they're undescribable when you have made a difference in somebody else's life and somebody else's business. So that mindset shifts. And you're never done. New level, new devil, right? Every time that you achieve a milestone, you're going to be, you're going to encounter a thought or a challenge that will require you to pull out your toolbox and work through that so that you can get to the other side and keep going. Mindset is my big thing.
How is your business doing in this pandemic? Have you changed your content strategy, or what can you advise for other people who want to start in this time?
For me, I had been a virtual, my business was online for many years. So that did not change a whole lot. What did change was seeing an opportunity. I had clients from my past in my corporate world that reached out to me because they knew that I was in the online space, and they asked for my help they were, corporations or small businesses that had an office or a company, a building, and they were struggling with how do we go remote? How do we go virtual? How are we going to be in touch? And so I was able to see an opportunity where I created, a revenue stream to show them what equipment they needed, what software to set up, how they were going to then communicate online, and how they were going to make progress and continue to perform as a business and continue to stay in touch and have their culture be intact in this online virtual space. So for me, I had to create content that spoke to them, kind of like the offline to online, which was not my normal content, but I just saw a way that I could help during those early months, March, April, May, where people were just feeling so uncertain. They were scared. They were full of fear and not really, and they were spinning, not knowing where do we go? How do we get started? And so I was that calming voice for them, and I had to show up in a way that allowed them to start taking a deep breath and seeing that this doesn't mean that you stop doing business. You just have to pivot. You have to be open to doing business a different way. And so that was one of the things that I did is I personally changed some content in my own business to show up for them differently so that I could help them to see the light, to get out of panic mode and get out of fear and get into action, move into imperfect action, because that was the other thing of getting people to just take some action, that not to wait, because waiting in some cases, businesses would not survive. If they waited too long and were paralyzed by that fear of not knowing what to do, it was going to mean closing the doors, letting people go, and getting out of business. So I had to show up and change people's minds or educate them so they could get through a very, very scary time. And I would also say during this pandemic, we're still going to do business a little bit outside the box. This is not the new norm yet. We still are getting used to doing business in a new way. We don't know what 2021 is going to bring, but for the time being, we just have to be flexible enough to do business in a new way, to embrace technology, embrace a new way of learning to do things, to stay in touch, to not stay stuck in we never did it that way, or that's not how we used to do it. You have to be flexible to survive and thrive. It is possible. Absolutely.
What advice would you give for those ones who are really suffering and having anxiety to say that if I want to start something online, someone had already started it. All the ideas have already gone. Now, with this pandemic, everyone is at home doing all my ideas.
Yeah.
What advice would you give?
That is imposter syndrome at its best. That is that voice of doubt that creeps up, and we have to quiet that mean girl or that mean boy. It's a negative voice, because I would say to them, okay, Think about how many doctors are there? How many nurses? How many accountants? How many website designers? How many teachers? Endless, right? And so if you want to have create a business in the online space, you are going to be okay. That's a mindset of lack. And I want you to be in a mindset of abundance, meaning there's enough for everybody. There's enough work for everyone. There's enough room for everyone. And I know that sounds so trivial. And I totally empathize with people who have lost their jobs, who have been laid off or who the doors have closed of their company and they needed to now scramble and find something else. But if you have an idea and you want to start something and you feel like a little burning in your belly and you wake up thinking about that idea, you have to go do it. Get into a Facebook group community or reach out online to Instagram or on LinkedIn. See where other people are hanging out that have done something similar to you and start taking action as to, okay, let me see if I can put a service offer, a quick little offer together. Who would I pitch it to? Who would I then offer that service to? How much would I charge? Just start putting it. Don't try to solve it all. Try to go and take action and put it out there. Get rejected because you are going to be rejected. Every no gets you closer to a yes. Be comfortable with being uncomfortable. Get comfortable with the rejection because you are going to get a lot of no's, but then ultimately that will lead into a yes. And in the meantime, you're showing up, you're getting more comfortable. You're trying to develop your service offer or your product that you want to offer, that you want to sell. And ultimately, it does get easier. When you start thinking it's been done, why would I do it? There's so many people doing it. Think about how you can do it differently. That's one thing that I did. I want to just kind of use myself as an example. There are a lot of content creators out there. My background is in accounting, in finance. I used to be in accounting and finance operations, but I really focus now on helping accounting, bookkeeping, and tax business owners on how to create content to help them grow their businesses online, to tap into a whole new, data or pool of clients, of prospect clients that they may not have been thinking about before because they were very comfortable getting referrals or attending conferences and workshops where they would hand out their business cards. Well, we can't do that right now. We can't go to conferences. We can't go to meetups. We have to do it online. And so I now am differentiating myself from other content creators or content strategists, content marketing, gurus. I don't want to call myself a guru, but other content creating, trainers or specialists or coaches by saying I'm focusing on a specific industry. And so I'm going to help that industry to show up and teach them how to create content that's going to attract their prospect clients. I'm not going to go and be a content creating strategist for website designers or IT professionals. So you see, you start to think about if you want to create something and you think that everybody else is doing it, I want to challenge you to think about how you can differentiate yourself. Whether it's an industry, niching down, that's a word that scares a lot of people. Niching down just means get more specific about who you want to help and how you want to help them. Shut down that voice. That's the imposter syndrome talking. Shut it down.
Thank you. Briefly, you touched about mentors, that you had mentors and you took courses. Mm-hmm. What is the most valuable thing your mentors or coaches has told you?
The imperfect action. Because of my background, they recognized that corporate structure in me and, the corporate speak or the corporate, crossing every T, dotting every I and feeling like it needs to be perfect. It needs to be perfect. No, they're like, it's more important for you to put something out there, get feedback, and then tweak it and then put it out again. You're in constant testing mode because by me, that whole thing of like waiting till it's perfect, it was really me procrastinating. It was me. They called it out. They said, you're afraid. You're afraid of what people will think. You're afraid of being judged. You're afraid of being rejected. You're afraid no one will buy. Stop. Take imperfect action. Put it out there. Get feedback. That feedback is so valuable and it will make it will make your service offer or your product or your program better. And then you put it out again and you start to build a community by, showing up for them with something that they need at the time that they need it. And so for me, that was one of the most valuable lessons that I continue to use all the time. And now I share it with others because that whole, oh, it's got to be perfect. It's not done yet. Oh, it needs to be done. It needs to be done with this, or I need to wait for this. That's fear. Take action.
What grounds you?
Oh, my family. I mean, having some structure as to who, how I'm going to be, keeping in touch with them, making sure that I have a younger sister. I speak to her probably a couple of, maybe 3, 4, 5 times a week sometimes. Seeing my partner, Eric, every single day. We have breakfast every single morning. We start the day together as a family with our dog. We have a 15-year-old little dog, Coco. And what grounds me is knowing that I have some structure in my life, knowing that every day I'm going to start my day with Eric and Coco, knowing that throughout the week I'm going to be in touch with my sister and a few other friends and family members that I keep in touch with on a regular basis. That really just makes it all, I'm okay. This week or today was a good day, or this was a good week. And constantly I have a very strong gratitude practice. And so I'm constantly in being grateful for the things that I have that are here now today, as opposed to chasing that thing that I don't have. Being really present in gratitude is part of what keeps me grounded every single day.
What is the most valuable thing you have ever given away?
My time. That is something that that is one thing you can never replenish. If you think about it, this minute, this hour, this day, once it's gone, it's gone. You cannot replenish time. And so for me, the valuable time that I give away, that valuable time that I give to my family, to my friends, to a few colleagues, where they give to me as much as I give to them, or it is my way of choosing a few people that I mentor or that I help in their business because of maybe their background or their current situation does not allow them to be able to afford investing. But I have a way of giving back to them, and sort of like there's a criteria that needs to be met in order for me to then help them as well. But yeah, it's my time. That is the most priceless and precious thing that I can give.
What is one thing no one knows about you?
Patience. Oh my goodness. I would say it's not that nobody knows about me, but only a couple of people know. When I was a teenager, for a very long time, for many years, I wanted to be a police officer. And even though I was so good at math, I was so good at painting and being artistic, I wanted to be a police officer. I thought that would be such a great profession. And that dream was crushed very quickly by my height requirement at that time. So, but yeah, I wanted to be a police officer in uniform and just, uphold the law.
Wow. Oh, thank you for sharing.
Sure.
Okay. Shortly, do you think social media is still working in this 2020?
Absolutely. And I just think that, it has to be done thoughtfully. To me, if you are going to use social media to show up and for people to get to know you, if you're going to use social media to grow your business, you have to do it thoughtfully. You can't just be, throwing things out there like a bunch of spaghetti against the wall and hoping something will stick. That is where having a content strategy comes into play. Social media will work for you if you put in the time and the thought and the effort into developing a strategy for what it is that you want social media to do for you. Otherwise, no, it's not going to work for you. You're going to be disappointed with the results. You're going to be exhausted and overwhelmed by the amount of work that you are putting in there because you're not coming up with a framework, a strategy that will help you to get the results that you want. And also, you have to be patient. Social media takes time. It takes effort and it takes time. That's part of the strategy.
How much patience are you talking about? 2 years, 1 year?
No.
For how long?
Oh, I think, we need to be patient to get the results that we want, especially when we're using social media and sharing our content, our messaging in order to get results. And the results that we may be looking for are either to increase the number of engagement, to reach more people, to get people to start talking back to us. And that doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen faster if you go into it with a strategy. And what I mean by that is that you need to almost like back engineer what it is that you want your audience to do when you're sharing your content. Is it that you're is the intention that you want to increase your brand awareness, that you want people to get to know you, to trust you, to start learning about you and see you as an expert, then your content should really be about you showing up and sharing value and showing your expertise and giving examples as to how you have been able to help other people. And even when you start sharing that kind of content early on, patients, that doesn't take as long to start seeing the results of getting people to engage with you, to ask more questions, to agree, to continue the conversation, because that's the whole thing about social media and content marketing, is that you should not have a dead end. People need to know what you want them to do next. So either it's a social engagement call to action where you say, like, comment, follow, or you ask a specific question and make it easy for them to respond. In 3 words, how would you describe yourself? Or in 5 words, how would you describe your business? Make it easy for them to be able to communicate and engage with the content that you're sharing. And you'll start seeing results a lot faster than you think, because ultimately, you need to get people to get to know you, to like you, to trust you in order to then be able to listen when you do promote an offer or a master class, or you make an invitation to contact you for some reason. They'll be more alert and more ready to say yes and to commit to showing up for you if you've been showing up for them.
Let's talk about your business.
So my business has evolved over time. When I left my corporate job 10 years ago, or in 2010, my first business was to create a CFO consulting business, a chief financial officer or business consulting practice. And that is still going. I still have that. I have help with that. And that is something that I never had a website. It was all through networking, word of mouth referrals, and through my LinkedIn profile and my network. And while that business is still going on, it's not the primary focus of my business today. Over time, I was able to go online in the online space, and using social media and content marketing, I was able to recognize that there was a niche that I loved, and that was helping accounting, bookkeeping, and tax business owners to help them with their content creation, their content marketing, in order to grow their businesses beyond their offline brick and mortar practices. A lot of accountants and tax preparers and bookkeepers have offices and their clients are local, but I was able to recognize that there was a niche there, and I could teach them and show them the way as to how they could use social media and content marketing in order to grow their business online, in the online space, so that they could have a greater reach and have clients all over the world, especially right now, or all over the country, at least, with all the technology that we have available to us. And it's also budget friendly. And in most cases, it's either free or very budget friendly. So my business today is, it's about helping those accountants, the bookkeepers, the tax business owners to create content that will attract, connect, and convert with their clients online using the online space. Because I think in this economy, it's not only about sustaining or, getting through this pandemic, but there is a way that we could thrive during a pandemic. And part of that is expanding their business reach by going online. So that's a little bit about my business right now.
How can we find your business, and how can we connect with you?
The main place where I hang out is my website, and that's veronicasagastume.com. And patients, I know that's a long name, so I'm sure you'll link to it in your show notes. But there you could either go, I have a ton of free resources. Go to the resources tab and grab whatever you think is going to help you. And if you want to get in a hold of me, go to the contact section, and either you can just send me a quick note through that. I still read and respond to every single contact or note that comes through my contact form on my website. It may take me more than 24 hours, but I'll get back to you if you have a question or a comment. I love to hear from those who listen to your podcast episode. What was your biggest takeaway, or what was an aha moment, or what made what tip you may want to follow up on or have a question on? So come on over to my website. All my social media channels are there at the footer. Come and let's hang out and let's connect and be social.
Wow. Are you still active on LinkedIn? Can we not get you through LinkedIn as well?
Absolutely. I'm still active on LinkedIn. And as a matter of fact, patients, thank you for asking that, because most of my clients right now, those accountants, the bookkeepers, the tax professionals, even finance business owners, people who are financial advisors, they are on LinkedIn primarily. And so most of my clients right now are coming from seeing me on LinkedIn or reaching out and connecting with me on LinkedIn. So yeah, I'm still active. It's evolved, and my history is still there, like all my corporate background and my recommendations or my referrals, they're still there. It's just that I'm adding to it by, reaching a different audience, but still in an industry that I'm very familiar with.
Wow. Thank you for sharing. So, clan, there will be more from Veronica in a moment. If you are listening on one of the many podcasting platforms rather than my website and you are encouraged by Veronica's journey, go to onlinesuccessjourney.com for a bonus portion of the interview. The Online Success Journey is a wonderful membership community built for people searching for the path to success. We are one big clan and you can be part of this community for free. Once you have joined the clan, click on part of Veronica's journey or over 250 other journeys that are available and learn how you can find the right path for your own online success journey. That's a wrap, clan. Remember, success is a journey. Patience and Veronica.
This is not the end of the journey. We hope you've enjoyed listening to part 1 and want to be sure you know there is a second part to this and every journey podcast at onlinesuccessjourney.com, filled with even more success tips, uplifting stories, and even a bit of fun. There are dozens of episodes only available to the members of the Online Success Journey clan. Check out the website and click on Join the Clan for more information. Patience would like to thank you for listening to this podcast, and she has a free audio gift for you at her website. Go to onlinesuccessjourney.com for instant access to this gift. Of course, you know that listening to the journeys of others helps each of us chart our own path. So make sure you're subscribed to be notified as each new interview is posted. There are so many ways to stay connected to the Online Success Journey and to listen in. And if you're enjoying the podcast, we appreciate your help in telling others. One of the best ways to share the benefit you get is to rate and review it at Stitcher and other sites by clicking the stars or completing the ratings form, by clicking thumbs up and leaving a comment on YouTube, or liking and sharing the podcast on social media. To review the podcast within iTunes, simply open iTunes to the podcast, click on Ratings and Reviews, then write a review. On behalf of Patience, and until next time, thanks once more for listening. It is our hope that this podcast will guide you on your own online success journey.